Hello everyone. Today we are going to start about the medulla oblongata. Mainly we are going to concentrate on the external features. So mainly we will be dealing about the introduction of the to the brain stem. So along with the medulla oblongata, so features of the medulla oblongata, both the anti and posterior external features we will be dealing with today. So first of all, coming to the brain stem. The brain stem consists of three components, that is the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. The midbrain is continuous above with the cerebral hemispheres. The medulla is continuous below with the spinal cord. So here we can identify both the sections, the anterior view as well as the section of the particular brain stem, which comprises of the medulla oblongata inferiorly, which is in blue, the pons shown in yellow, and the midbrain, which is shown by the red colored arrow. So posterior surface of the pons and medulla oblongata are separated from the cerebellum by the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle is continuous superiorly with the aqueduct of the midbrain and inferiorly with the central canal of spinal cord. So again the section of the brain stem with the medulla oblongata, the pons and the midbrain. So you can see the cranial nerves emerging out from its inferior surface or the ventral surface. So mainly the first and second cranial nerve, that is the olfactory and optic nerves, arises from the forebrain. Third and fourth nerve, that is the oculomotor and trochlear nerves, arises from the midbrain. The trigeminal nerve arises at the junction between pons and middle cerebellar peduncle, and at the junction between pons and middle cerebellar pons and medulla oblongata, three nerves are going to emerge. That is abducent nerve, the facial nerve, as well as the trigeminal nerve. And in the medulla oblongata, you are going to see the rest of the cranial nerves emerging. That is the ninth, glossopharyngeal, 10th, the vagus, 11th, the accessory, and 12th, the hypoglossal nerves. So here again you can see the section of the brain stem. So the cranial nerves emerging out. So from the midbrain, the third and fourth, that is the trochlear, that's the oculomotor and trochlear. Fifth, at the pons and junction between pons and medulla are the abducent, the facial nerve and the vestibulocochlear nerve. And in the medulla oblongata, the glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory and hypoglossal nerves are going to emerge out. So medulla oblongata, its external features which are going to deal today. So it is pyriform in shape. It extends superiorly from the lower margin of the pons and inferiorly up to the spinal cord. So this extends, the medulla oblongata extends up to the upper border of the atlas vertebra. Its anterior aspect is related to the basilar part of occipital bone. Posterior superiorly, the lower part of the fourth ventricle, where it is separated from the cerebellum, and inferiorly, you have the closed part surrounding the central canal. So, following fissures or sulci are seen. So, anteriorly, in the midline is the anterior median fissure. Similarly, posteriorly, the posterior median sulcus. So, both are continuous downwards along with the similar type of fissure or sulcus in the spinal cord. This anterior median fissure ends at the lower border of pons called as foramen cecum. So coming to the anterior area of the external surface, so main feature we are seeing here is the decussation of the pyramids seen in the lower part by fibers which cross obliquely from one side to the other. The anterior external arcuate fibers are seen. They emerge from the fissure above the decussation and move laterally over the surface of the medulla oblongata. Laterally, both ante and posteriorly, we are going to encounter two sulcuses. So, anterolateral sulcus and posterolateral sulcus. Along the anterolateral sulcus, we see the ventral roots of spinal nerves and rootlets of hypoglossal nerve. Along the posterolateral sulcus, so this is in line with the dorsal roots of spinal nerves. So this gives attachment to the glossopharyngeal, vagus and accessory nerves. The pyramid is a elevation seen between the anterior median sulcus and the anterolateral sulcus. It contains motor fibers which pass from the brain to the spinal cord. So it mainly contains the corticospinal, corticobulbar and corticopontine fibers. The decussation of the pyramids, 2/3 of the fibers of the pyramids decussates in the anterior median fissure. They descend in the posterior part of the lateral funiculus of the spinal cord as the lateral corticospinal tract. The remaining fibers form the uncrossed fibers. They descend as the anterior corticospinal tract and lateral corticospinal tract. The anterior corticospinal tract into the anterior funiculus of the same side of the spinal cord and lateral corticospinal tract inclined backwards and laterally on the same side. The olive is an oval elevation which is found superiorly. It contains the inferior olivary nucleus. It lies in between the anterolateral and posterolateral sulcus. The abducent nerve. So this emerges between the lower border of the pons and cranial end of the pyramid. The facial nerve emerges between the cranial end of the olive and lower end of the pons. Now coming to the external features seen on the posterior area. So here we are seeing two elevations in the lower part, that is fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. Both extends from the spinal cord into the lower part of the posterior area of the medulla oblongata. The gracile tubercle is an elevation produced by the nucleus gracilis. Similarly, the cuneate tubercle is an elevation produced by the nucleus cuneatus. Tuber cinereum. This is another elevation in the lower part of the medulla, lateral to the fasciculus cuneatus. Beneath this lie the nucleus and the spinal tract of trigeminal nerve. This tuber cinereum acts as a guide to the neurosurgeons during transection of the spinal tract and the treatment of trigeminal neuralgia. Now coming to the posterior area, the lower part of the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So this peduncle lies in the upper part of the superolateral zone. So it forms lateral boundary of the fourth ventricle. This peduncle runs backwards to enter into the cerebellum. The eighth nerve nuclei lie between the inferior peduncle and the pons. Superior medial, that is the caudal part of the fourth ventricle. It is limited by the medullary striae or striae medullaris. It is divided into two symmetrical halves by the median sulcus. The sulcus limitans divides this area further into medial and lateral areas. Hypoglossal trigone, a triangular elevation, lies medial to the sulcus limitans. So beneath it lies the hypoglossal nucleus. The vestibular area lies lateral to the sulcus limitans. It contains four groups of vestibular nuclei. The inferior fovea is a depression in the lower part of the sulcus limitans. Vagal trigone lies caudal to the fovea and in between the hypoglossal trigone and vestibular area. It contains beneath it the dorsal nucleus of the vagus nerve. Area prostrema, the caudal and most inferolateral area. So neurons of the lateral act as chemoreceptors for vomiting reflex. Cumulus scriptorius. So the entire part of the floor of the fourth ventricle below the medullary striae or stria medullaris, this resembles just like a nib of a writing pen, hence called as cumulus scriptorius. So assignment: the external features of the medulla oblongata, pyramid and olive.